Today on this week's weekly update we are going to be looking at Downward Spiral and Affected the Manor. So all that coming up on this week's weekly update. Greetings and welcome, fellow YouTubers out there. We're going to talk about a few things this week. I mean, it's December, so we've got the Advent calendar that's going on. There is going to be a sort of 24-hour live stream up and coming, which I'm going to be doing for charity. And we're talking about two games that we saw this earlier on this week, which were Downward Spiral and the Affected the Mansion. So without further ado, let's get on with it. I mean, I'm going to be a little bit quick this week because although we've got a lot to be talking about, there's still a lot of stuff that I need to be getting on with. So I want to try and make this this episode as quickly as possible. You know, every time that I say that, I still make something like a 45-minute long video, so I do apologise. So that's it. That's the apology for the apologies. Okay, right. First up, the first game that we looked at was Downward Spiral. Now, before I started playing this, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought it was going to be some sort of VR space station combat shoot 'em up. Well, pretty much like the Persistence, but it was nothing like that. In fact, in the very first level, the very thing that I was combating was the control methods. Now, I picked foolishly for this game, because like I said, I did not know what I was going into. So I picked for this game to use the dual stick controllers, and for the first 10-15 minutes of the game, I was fighting very hard against the controllers. I say, look, I want to go in that direction. I want to go in that direction. No, not backwards. I want to go forwards. So that was really annoying to get along with. But to be perfect, once you've got the grappling hook became your sole means of getting around the station. So I think it was good in that aspect, although it was frustrating to be floating around rather helplessly, and lo and behold, with destiny and luck coincide with each other, you might actually find your way to the door. But once you've gotten the grappling hook and you can start using that to get around the station, it was a different kind of control scheme than I've actually been used to. And it sort of worked. The thing is, it was still slow and annoying at some times, but they were trying to go for a different way of propelling yourselves across the board rather than the average your average teleporter or just walking. So I think for what this game was, it kind of worked in that aspect. If you didn't use the grappling hook, you were floating around aimlessly and trying to see if you can push your way to the direction you want to go to. But then with the grappling hook, everything seems to work fine. There were some downsides to this. There was combat, and unfortunately the combat was pretty much useless with the dual stick controller. I mean, you would have thought it was just look at something and then shoot at it, but that didn't work. It took time for the thing that you're using to shoot to co-align with what you're looking at. So let's just say you looked over at the monster and it took about 5 seconds for your gun to actually align at the monster you're looking at, which I thought was really annoying, which is why I believe that using the move controllers would have been much better for this game. Not only because you for the free movement without the grappling hook, sorry, kind of lost my voice there. Without the grappling hook, you just had your hands to grip with. So I think this game does not work with the Move controller. I think it, sorry, does not work with the DualShock controller. I think it is predominantly a Move controller style game. Unfortunately, I didn't actually play with it with just the Move controller, so I am going to have to give it another shot at a later point in time with the Move controllers. Okay, so on its own, on its basis, let's just say, if leaving the controllers aspects to the side, what do I think of the gameplay in itself? Well, I had a little bit of a look at the behind the scenes of this, and after I finished playing, and the behind the scenes they were set from the developers, they said that this is a story that isn't told, it is discovered. And I can see where they're coming on from that, with the discovery of people's notes as they leave them behind, or, well, there isn't really much in the way of notes. Well, yes, there was, but the fact is, you kind of got to figure out what's going on, and that is a good way of actually telling it, not just hand feeding the storyline to the player as they go, but the fact is that they discover what's actually happening for themselves as they move along, which I think is a good way of doing some storytelling if you've got the time to play it. If you want to just, let's just shoot through as much as possible and just ignore everything and just get to the finish as soon as possible, it doesn't work that way of storytelling. So therefore, depending on the type of audience person you are, if you are a person that's got lots of time that you can just float around and just read everything up on screen, then it might be a good then it will be a good way of selling. However, if you don't have any time, because like you've got work, or you need to sleep, or you need to cook dinner, or anything like that, and you just want to get as far through it as possible, then you will miss out all the important stuff. You will miss out on all the story, why things are happening, things that are going on in the background. So therefore, it's a little bit of a mixed match depending on how style of gameplay that you want to play. But one of my favourite moments of this was when I went through the airlock and I shot out into, well, I didn't shoot out in space, I drifted out into space, and I could just see the station that we was crawling all over, and as we was floated there in the distance, we just saw Mars just looming right over us, and it was an absolute awesome vista that we took, just seeing everything in its detail. And I really love that section, that part. Yes, it has got some good details. It's with when the alarm's going off, it says you need to go to the airlock, and then you go to the map. You have to try and find out where the airlock is. So then, for you run or drift slowly to the drift to where you think you need to be going. And yeah, I did actually quite enjoy this. The only downside I have to give this game is the fact that I was playing it with the dual stick controller, and that just really did not work for me. I really didn't like that. So I really do think that I should give this game another try, but try it again with the Move controllers. So you'll probably find me doing that on my Twitch channel at a later point. Okay, do I think that this game is worth it? Yes, I do actually. This game is when you play it, there's two modes that you can play it in. You can either play it in exploration mode, or you can play it in action mode. Now, exploration mode is you just go in there and you just explore. There are no enemies, no bad guys. I don't actually know that because I didn't actually play the exploration mode or exploration mode. Get my words messed up. That's just what it said on the label. is what it said on the tin. Basically, exploration mode. You've got no bad guys, no monsters, nothing trying to kill you. You just explore the place and enjoy it for what it is, and that's a space station, zero-G space station exploration game, which I think is great in itself. So you don't need to worry about all the monsters if you want that. And the other one, which was the action mode, was just like the exploration mode, but with monsters. So people are trying to kill you. You have to fire. You got like guns. Well, they don't actually call them guns, they call them tools, because in the developers they said they didn't want real guns in here. They wanted you to be like sort of an engineer using tools, so like a rapid, a machine gun is actually a nail launcher. Same thing that they did from Quake when that first came out, but so yeah, you've got tools that you use to defeat the robots as they try to attack you. So I thought that is quite decent, quite good. I did have a little bit of a problem with one of the scenes where that massive turret drops down from the ceiling and he tries to shoot you. Sorry, and where we go with our daily checks off the motorbike gangs outside, so I do apologise about that. Yeah, so the massive turret drops down out of the ceiling and is searching for you, and if he sees you, he'll shoot you. So you've got to basically time it to the time it so you're hiding behind the obstacles as his searchlight passes by, which I have seen in quite a few games, from Batman to Moss and a lot of other games that have been doing this. So it's a cliche in that aspect. One which sort of brings a sense of dread and timing and need to get somewhere quick. But this is a problem of having that game mechanic in this game, is the need to be somewhere quick. How can you get to somewhere quick when your fastest speed is a gentle, slow drift through the air? So you can't just like swim faster in zero G. It just doesn't work. You have to basically time it so that you just slowly drift to the destination and pray like hell that you can stop without going past it. So that was a bit of an annoying section, that, and I don't know if that was in the exploration or not, but I think hopefully it shouldn't be, and therefore you can just enjoy the game as it's intended. But yeah, this game I really did actually quite enjoy it, and if you want a space station exploration game, I recommend it. If you really want a space station shoot 'em up in zero G, I recommend it. I do think that I quite enjoyed this one. I'm not going to give it like top marks, because even though it was a good game and it did have some monsters, it still seemed a little bit empty. The graphics, sorry, I have to find something bad out of everything, I do apologise. But I mean, this game has got decent graphics, it's got a unique control style for the VR, it's got some halfway decent enemies, and the storyline is that what you have to discover yourself. But there seems to be just a tiny bit of emptiness in there. I can't quite place my finger on it, but I'm sure that if you played it, you feel like, well, that you're alone against machines, and why? There's a little bit of why, or what the heck are we even doing this? What is this game about? What is my purpose in being here? And it doesn't really relate onto anything like that, unless I missed it in that story that you need to discover bit. So my final thoughts on this game: yes, I recommend this. For the price, I would say this game is worth about 15 quid, £15. The reason I am saying that it's worth about £15 because I can't remember how much I actually paid for it when I went up onto stores. But if it's above 15 quid, I recommend leaving it for a bit until it gets to 15 quid or below. 19 quid, pushing it a little bit. So yeah, I quite enjoy this game, and I certainly recommend it. It's a good little passerby and exploration game if you want for that. Okay, next game up we have The Manor, or I think its full title is That Affected the Manor, or something like that. Now this is a really cheap horror style game, and when I'm saying cheap, I think it was no more than say £5 on the English store, or maybe like £5.99, but it's still cheap. And for what you can get up to like an hour's worth, well, 45 minutes to an hour's worth of video play of this game. Now when I did a walkthrough of this game, I noticed that there were it was really detailed. This game is not for the faint of heart though. This game is a really scary game, one that would really scare the pants off most people out there. The people who designed this game took a look at take a look in the instruction manual of what makes a scary game, and they just said, right, sod it, throw all of that in and see what we've got. They've got great graphics in here. The graphics is awesome. The sounds is truly terrifying. They've got jump scares galore in there, and they do the jump scares correctly. When I say doing the jump scares correctly, there's two aspects that make up a proper jump scare to really home it down, and one of them is sound, and the other is visuals. Oh, and a third thing being totally by surprise. And no, I am not going to jump scare you guys. I promise I am not going to jump scare you guys. I wouldn't do that to you. Or would I? See, you're even a little bit worried about I'm going to jump scare you in this video right now, aren't you? See, that is the aspect of a jump scare, is that sometimes that you think that they're going to jump scare you. Oh, are we back? Yes, we're back. Sorry about that. In fact, it looked like my camera sort of jump scared me. It's just at that point my camera ran out of space on its hard drive or SD card, so yeah, cancelled out. Do apologise about that. Yes, what we were saying. Yeah, jump scares. They happen when you very least expect it, just like what my bloody camera did to me just now. And it has to involve element of surprise, element of sound, element of visual. So all three of one will equal a jump scare. But this game doesn't actually go down on just jump scares alone. It really pushes forward the audio cues, the things that really terrify you deep down in your soul, from like giggling school children to dolls moving around on their own, and all elements of darkness. And that element of darkness, one of the other things that was a little bit of a problematic for like streaming, because a lot of you guys can't really see how dark this game actually is. Now, when I was playing this, it was really quite immersive. I could just barely see what was in front of you, or in front of me. And every now and again, it constantly gave me clues or cues as to where I'm supposed to be looking, such as you go down a small library path with books flying across from side by side, and there's a little picture that says "look up," and as you look up, something comes and smashes you in the face, or basically you're wandering around this area trying to figure out where you're next supposed to go, and all the lights blink out, and the lights on the stairwell shine up. So you say, oh, I wonder if I'm supposed to go that way. But also, don't get me wrong, for those who did actually see my live stream, they saw that I myself really wasn't scared at all about this game. When I was playing it, I was like laughing and joking and say, ooh, I can see right up your nose. Actually, I don't think I said that at any point, but you get the idea. Is I was really joking around with this game. I really could not get scared, but that's just an aspect on my behalf is of being grounded in reality, and I knew that this game is a walking simulator game. A walking simulator game where you can't really get effective. You can't die. You don't have any loss or any problems. You start from the beginning of the game and nothing will stop it from getting you to the end. So when I'm like in that sort of grounded in reality on that aspect, all you're just doing is walking down through a hall of mirrors or walking through a haunted house. In this game, quite literally, walking through a haunted house. So therefore that diminishes the amount of the scare factor for me personally, which is why I couldn't really go through, why I couldn't really be scared of this game. However, for the majority of people, those that are new, either like new to VR gaming or new to horror, or would like just want to watch a scare, because even though nothing can actually affect you, it's going from beginning to end, a lot of people still get scared watching horror films. And this is exactly that. It is a first-rate, first-class horror film in VR that you're controlling. You're walking through the area and everything will try its best to scare the pants off you. And in this case, they did it masterfully. It is masterful. In fact, you can do it in more than one ways. When you start off the game, you either get a choice of going left or going right. And if you choose to go right, you get one set of events that gets played out in front of you. If you go to, and those set of events from start to finish will last approximately about 15-20 minutes or so. And if you're not stopping to look at everything, I mean, when I went through, I was like, so I'm looking at all like the books, all the notes, trying to see if I can interact with stuff, see if I can go back. But if you're just going straight from start to finish, approximately about 20 minutes. And then if you start the game over and this time chose to go left instead of right, then you get a whole different set of events that will happen, and it will be a completely different, well, I won't say storyline, but a completely different path to follow, and you get a whole new set of 20 minutes to actually explore through and survive and see if you can enjoy that. I quite enjoyed this game. In fact, even just the after I finished doing my live stream, I actually went back to play this game again the next day, just because I wanted to play it in my own time, or my own way. And yeah, I still didn't do a scream, but I certainly got the internal shudders a fair bit whilst going through that. Because that's another thing about me personally when I play horror games or scary games. Most people will freak out, and when I mean freak out is they like scream their heads off, throw the headsets at passing motorcyclists, or basically just cringe outwardly. I don't do any of that. I freak in. So therefore, everything that happens when I get scared or jump scared or nervous happens inside me. Shudders. It shudders really inside me and deeply, and lasts for about a fraction of a second. But doesn't mean that I'm not scared. Doesn't mean that I don't freak in this case. Doesn't mean that I'm not affected by these games, because I am in a certain sense. I do. It's just that I don't react to it on camera as much as other people would react to it. which is one of the reasons why I don't do reaction channel, why I don't react to videos or react to this, that or the other, because everything that I do it all internally rather than externally. So I mean, if anything, I might even start up a non-react channel. Everything that people always used to react to, like Furry Force or well, anything that you can think of, Two Girls, One Cup. I just go, yeah, and there's only so many facial expressions you can really do, isn't there? But yeah, this game, recommend it, definitely. It is only a £5, and if it does a bloody good scare. So if it's one maybe for Halloween, or if you really like to try and see if you get a freak out challenge going on, bring your friends home that haven't played VR before. Bring them in, say, oh, we've got this new game that's on our VR that you want to try it. I'll see how you do. Yeah, for I always wanted to try these VR games out. Yeah, let's see what you've got. I bet it's not going to be that bad. And then videotape them and upload the results. I'm sure we'll get a great combination of people freaking out, falling over, throwing their headsets across the room, and basically screaming the heck out of everything. Yeah, so have this game, enjoy it, give it to other people so that they can enjoy it, or you enjoy their reactions to it, which I think will be which will be fun. Yeah, kudos, thumbs up. Well, okay, so those are the two games that we talked about. There are other things that I wanted to talk about as well this week. Though we've got a couple of things that are going on. It's December, as you can see. I'm like wearing my old Christmas jumper, well, I say Christmas, winter jumper, to try and keep myself all nice and warm down here. As it's December, I finally have managed to get my advent calendar out. So I've been trying to get my advent calendar done for pretty much the past month. I've been really working hard to get this done. It is an experiment. It is not what I really want to try and get, simply because when I wanted to do an advent calendar, I wanted to do an animated advent calendar in 360 that you can use wearing your VR headset. Unfortunately, I can't do animations yet, because if the attached add-on module that I need for 3ds Max to allow me to do animations rather than just still frames will cost me about £1,000, and there's no way that I'm going to be paying £1,000 for an attachment module, an add-on module. So no. So I have to just make do with still pictures. But in the essence of what advent calendars are that I've seen in the past, still pictures I think will be good for this, and so therefore I think that this should work. Now, I know that I did my advent calendar last year in 2017. Now, for this year I've minimized that down so you guys can't see that at the moment. At the end of the year I'll put it back up, but for this year I'm starting this one afresh. Last year was all done in the space station, and there was not much space in that space station for me to actually work with. So this time I started off with an inky black void, as you can see from the past 2 days that have gone. So when this goes up, you should have the first and the second up. The first is like an inky black void, and then it turns into, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen them yet, you might want to check it out. Or I know these are the early days. I'm going to tell you what's happened so far. You've got like the inky black void turning into a starscape, which I thought was actually quite good. I was trying to see if I can find the right music to actually add to that, but the music that I wanted to add was a bit copyright protected and didn't allow me to add it. So I got this one, which was the best one that I can get so far, which is something that I've used previously on other videos, as you may have seen. So the Starscape, if you're watching it on like YouTube or a phone or an iPad or a tablet or anything like that, it won't be impressive. It will just be black with lots of dots all over it, and you won't get anything out of it. However, I strongly recommend trying it on the PSVR headset, because on your PlayStation you've got the YouTube application you can use, and that YouTube application on the PlayStation works with the PSVR. It has its own section for the PSVR, and this advent calendar is designed at using that headset. Hopefully, sometimes it does get a little bit glitchy, so I do apologize about that, but hopefully if all the planets are aligned and you've got great good fortune in your sights, then it will work perfectly. And possibly a Pro might help as well. But yeah, so definitely check it out on the PSVR headset, and it will be a completely different experience to what you'll get on the tablet or phone or computer. Okay, and the next one, okay, I put the Earth inside in this next one, and on day 2. So day 2 is already gone. It's up and running. You've got the picture of the Earth and looms over. Unfortunately, it kind of messed up, and it looks like the Earth has got a butt at the bottom. I do apologise, I couldn't spread it out because the way that the Earth shaped around on the 360, I tried to get it to work, but unfortunately it didn't, and it give it that cleft at the bottom. Hopefully you won't really get to notice it further on from today, because over the next few years, almost started spoiling the next couple of days. Well, the next couple of days you're going to have to wait and see. So, as I said, each day it's going to be adding something new. Starting from an inky black void, next Starscape, next the Earth, and then over and up till Christmas, I will fill it with as much as I possibly can. So I've already created 24 days of this. I've still yet to finish off day 25, and I should hopefully be able to get that done in time. I should. I spent a month doing day 21 to 24, so hopefully day 25 should be quite easy to do. In fact, I've already done day 25. I just need to do the video editing of it. I've got a certain way. I think the 25th day is just going to be all of the previous ones put together, plus day 25 as its overall end, to a nice Christmassy song that's heavy metal. Yeah, I'm enjoying doing this. I like doing the computer graphics. I like doing my graphics elements. The problem that I have is I just don't really get the time to do it. In fact, doing this advent calendar, I spent pretty much a week of holiday doing this, because I had to book the week off as a holiday at my workplace, and during that time off I actually spent working on creating the graphics and images. I so much wish that I had more time to do this, because I've still got like the Stickmen in Space series that I've been wanting to give out. I wanted the newsroom to be all in there, like the graphics and reports. Unfortunately, there's just hardly any time to get these done. But I will get them done. It just may take me more time than usual because we've got work and such. But I will get more. There will be more stuff from the Stickmen as I produce them. Because I've still got a lot of things that are coming out. In fact, you have to keep an eye out on Space Wolf 1 when it finally comes out. That will be something interesting when I finally manage to complete that. Cool. Right. The final thing that I wanted to talk about this week is the up and coming 24-hour Skyrim charity challenge. Now, last year I did the 24-hour Skyrim challenge. Basically, it was staying in VR totally for 24 hours, going from beginning to end, and all done in Skyrim. In fact, I stayed even longer than 24 hours. I think it was like 25 and a half hours that I was in there for. And so there was no changing the games, no taking the headset off. And it was a totally surreal experience, especially when I came out of it at the end. There was a moment at about midnight when BT cut me off because they thought that I was, well, I don't know why they were overloading the lines or a problem with the lines. Hopefully they won't do that this time, but we'll have to see how it goes. But this time, I wanted to try and do. I wanted to do another 24 hours again. And I was like thinking, what can we really use? I mean, we did Skyrim last time, or what can we use this time? But there isn't a game out there, because each time you change a game, you have to turn off the live stream. So instead of turning off the live stream, I want it to be one game where it's constantly playing all the time. And there isn't anything out there at the moment that I could comfortably play for 24 hours straight. I mean, someone that suggested like Tetris, and I thought, well, if I play Tetris 24 hours straight, or maybe even Polygameth, or any other sort of game, I'll probably just go mad or insane, or my brain will literally melt and drip out of my ears. I think I would just not handle it. So therefore, at the moment, as it stands, or unless Borderlands VR comes out, Skyrim is my only option of hope where I can stay in VR for 24 hours straight. So I saw the other day, as I was planning on what I was doing for the 24-hour challenge, I saw another YouTuber who goes by the name Gamertag do a 24-hour challenge as well. But his challenge was for charity, cancer research charity, and I thought, oh, that was amazing. Well done, well done. I followed him throughout the entire day, egging him on, pretending to yawn to try and make him fall asleep. But he did multiple different games. I mean, he did like Star Trek, Firewall, he did Star Trek, Firewall, Red Dead, Firewall, some other game, Firewall, and in the game he played Firewall again. I wonder if he likes Firewall a little bit. But yeah, he did like 24 hours straight, but playing different games for a charity event, and that inspired me to say, well, why don't I do a charity event for my for this 24-hour stream that I do? And I thought, okay, well, what charity should I do? And there's only one charity that comes to mind. It's Christmas at the moment. It's December. Christmas is coming. We're all in the festive spirit. So it has to be Crisis Over Christmas. Now, I've worked for Crisis Over Christmas before, volunteering for them, helping them out with their shelters. Now, what Crisis Over Christmas does is they get an abandoned building, one that's not been used or been donated for the cause. They have like several around London, and they do them up so that they can house as many homeless people as possible. So people get sent in there. They're given food, they're given shelter, a place to sleep over the cold periods. As well as they give them internet access to allow them to send emails or try and see if they can contact people that they need to contact, or family members that are long and lost for some time. So it allows them to try and communicate to the outside world, to let people know that they're still alive, or to try and see if we can get help for them, whether it be just a short term for food and rest for a night, or long term to try and see if we can get them a job. Crisis Over Christmas, I really think, do really good work. They do bloody good work, which is why I helped them as much as I could by volunteering whilst I was living in London, to help them out with their sites. Unfortunately, now that I have moved out of London, I'm no longer in London anymore, I don't really get I don't really go to the meetings anymore, which I think is a shame, because I would have loved to have kept doing the voluntary work that I did for them, because it's always great stuff that we do there. And there have been some really powerful experiences, which I will talk through with you when I'm doing this charity stream. There have been some emotionally trying, some very powerful, and some really, really good situations, or should I say bad situations, that needed the help, and we was there to provide the help for them. And so I thought, okay, let's do this charity stream. Let's make this 24-hour a stream about the charity Crisis Open Christmas. Give them the focus. I'll put all the focus on them. I'm not too sure how we're going to do it yet, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of research, and I've got less than 2 weeks to get into this. I'm going to contact them, going to let them know what I'm doing. I'll put links up in the description. I can't take Super Chat at the moment because I'm not over. I know when Gamertag did his charity stream, he was doing it. He's got over 1,000 subscribers, so therefore he had a Super Chat, which allowed people to donate money through the Super Chat, and he would donate all that money to his charity for the cancer research campaign. I don't have that many subscribers yet, so I can't do the Super Chat option. However, what I will do is, like I said, I'll put links down in the description. I'll work it out so that people can go to can send a link to the Crisis Open Christmas page so that they can donate, or I'll set up some sort of section where they can give cash donations to, and I'll put all that money straight to Crisis Over Christmas. And this live stream will be a sort of raise awareness for this charity, to raise awareness to get people that there is a problem with the homelessness situation here in London, and that we do need to address the situation and try and help out as much as possible. I know it seems bad saying that just handing out like a couple of coppers or a couple of silvers do not help these people as much as pointing them towards a local hospice will actually help them. So what can you do? I mean, because if you're giving them the money straight away, it kind of enforces their beliefs that they can just sit around and take the money rather than do actual affirmative actions that will change their lives for the better. And they need to go through this. They need to be seeing these hospice. They need to be getting in contact with the right people. They need a proper way of living, because living on the streets, living on park benches, or dying from the cold, especially at this time of year, it's just no way to exist, no way to live. In fact, it's not living, it's a slow death for these people. Slow, painful, and even sometimes humiliating death for some of these people. And I said, Crisis really tries to help turn that around, and I've seen them turn it around for so many people before. Alright, sorry, got a little bit carried away with that. Yeah, I do believe in that, because so when I sorry, just reminiscing, when I was in there, there were so many things that was anyhow, I'll save that for another video, another time. I'll save it for when I'm doing the live stream, and I can talk about it all during the live stream. I really do want to talk about it now, but if I do talk, then this video will probably take longer than an hour. And I need 24 of them. Okay, right. That's that for this week. Yes, please don't forget to join me during my charity live stream, my 24-hour live stream. Enjoy the advent calendars, as each day brings something new to it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys out there.